Okay, so now today's topic has been already announced is a book called Swararnavatantra, which is mentioned in one of the Tyagaraja Kritis. It's not just that book, it's what is popularly already heard by all of you. It has become a routine to use the word Nada Brahma and Nada Brahma Sadhana, Nada Brahma Upasana. But the problem is that no one actually talks about how this word Nada Brahma is understood by Tyagaraja and how his actual musical practice is Nada Brahma Upasana or Nada Brahma Sadhana. So I wanted to make it a point to clarify all these questions about why Nada Brahma Upasana of Tyagaraja is so significant, so important, and why it has to be understood differently than the superficial grasping that most of us have with regard to that. Let me start with my own anecdotal experiences about what is the usual perception about Nada Brahma Upasana. I was mentioning this music as yoga in a certain group of people, and one of the members of the group was saying, "Oh, yes, I heard that music is a spiritual practice, but I never understand how music can be a spiritual practice. I even don't agree with the idea that music can be a spiritual practice." And there was another person who was saying, "Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree that music is a spiritual practice, but I don't agree with the idea that music itself is a path of liberation because music is always a tool. Music is always an accompanying tool. For example, you have Shravana and Sankirtana, form of bhakti, and because you're using Gana for Shravana and Sankirtana, you're singing Bhakti Gitas, you're singing Bhakti Geyas. Because you're using Sangita, you're using Nada for that Bhakti Sadhana, because Bhakti Yoga in the form of Shravana and Sankirtana is actually leading to moksha. So, what is actually leading to moksha is your Bhakti Yoga, but music is coming to use there only as a tool, as an accompanying tool. Then I had to clarify to that person, no, 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 no. This is not what Tyagaraja means by saying that music is a direct path to liberation. No, that's not what he means. He does not mean that music is helping in the bhakti sadhana in the form of Shravana and Sankirtana. Then what it is? There is another confusion possible, and that needs to be cleared because this whole series of talks has the keyword swara, swara, swara all the time. And I'm using the word yoga also here. And there is another key term formed out of these two words, swara and yoga. There is a word called swara yoga, which is very popular uh, in the sections that they know. In only in some sections of yoga knowledge, the word Swara Yoga is already known. But let me clarify. Actually, I had to do it. One of our office bearers of Indica brought a person who wanted to speak on music yoga, and he titled that talk as Swara Yoga. And then I had to call him up on phone and had to tell him to change the title, because Swara Yoga is not the music yoga of Tyagaraja that we are going to talk. Swara Yoga is where yoga is being viewed as music, whereas Tyagaraja's method is viewing music as yoga. Let me repeat. Yoga being viewed as music is Swara Yoga. Music being viewed as yoga is Tyagaraja's method. And more specifically, yoga being viewed as music can be more specifically articulated as breath yoga. Breath yoga being viewed as music is Swara Yoga. Breath being viewed as Swara is Swara Yoga. Okay? There is this whole big school of breath yoga, which is otherwise viewed as pranayama, prana yoga, prana related yoga, breath yoga, and all that. It's a huge school. If any of you are interested in studying Swara Yoga, uh, please study books like Shiva Swarodaya. This book, Shiva Swarodaya, is available on Amazon also. And there are many manuscripts of Shiva Swarodaya. And there are fortune tellers, predictors, who use the breath of different nostrils, observational breath of nostrils for prediction, for prashna paddhati, astrologically and all that. All that comes under Swara Yoga only. It's a huge field. But that Swara Yoga is different from the yoga of swaras that we are going to discuss today. Here, there, yoga is viewed as music, breath is being viewed as music. Here, music itself is being viewed as yoga. And if you want to understand Tyagaraja's music yoga, what it means, what actually he is talking in terms of music yoga, one very, very important kriti that you might remember is Nadatanum Anisham Shankaram Bhajami. Unfortunately, in all the convention of singing, people have been splitting the word Nadatanum into two different words, and they are elongating at the end of Nada. They are saying Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram. But actually it's not Nada Tanumanisham. No. It is Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram. Because I'm splitting it completely differently only today, it might not get registered in your mind, but if you want to follow the text correctly, what the text is saying is Nadatanum Anisham Shankaram Bhajami. It is saying Nadatanum Shankaram Aham Anisham Bhajami. Shankaram, Shiva, who is Nadatanu, whose body is made up of music, music bodied Shankara, Anisham, always Bhajami, I'm experiencing in me. Bhajami does not mean doing bhajana with symbols. Bhajami in Sanskrit actually means I'm experiencing. Nadatanu. Shankara is made up of music. His body is made up of music. What it means? Actually, you have to come reverse. You should not say that there is a Shankara and his body is made up of music. Instead, you have to say if there is any entity whose body is made up of music, if you can make a body out of music, if you can make an entity full of music, that is Shankara. That is the kind of Shankara that Tyagaraja knows. Tyagaraja knows only that Shankara, which is actually music itself. Music is Nada Tanu. Is Shankara for him is Nada Tanu, Nada Maya. That is Shankara for him. If you want to come from Upanishads and understand the word Nada Brahman, and then if you want to replace Brahman with either Shankara or Rama, then you would see Rama's body and Shankara's body both as music. What is Brahman from Upanishads? There is a question in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita put by Arjuna to Sri Krishna. Kim tad Brahma? What is Brahman? The short question has a short answer by Sri Krishna. He says, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Paramam Aksharam is Brahman. This word Aksharam there is being used in contrast to Ksharam. Because in the same shloka, in the same sequence, it is also being answered as Adibhutam Ksharo Bhava. So Kshara and Akshara are getting contrasted here. So that is perishable is Kshara, which is not perishable is Akshara. So if in the whole reality, in the whole cosmos, in the whole world, if there is anything that remains after everything perishes, there is only one entity that remains as imperishable. It is the essence of everything because nothing is created out of nothing. Everything is created out of something. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Means nothing is created out of nothing. Everything is created out of something. So if you say everything is getting perished, there is nothing like that. There cannot be nothing that remains after everything perishes. What happened is all things have changed into their essence. So ultimately imperishable essence of everything is Brahman. Aksharam Brahma Paramam means that. So the question, the definition of Brahman has come. What is Brahman? The ultimately imperishable essence of everything around you is Brahman. Then the question would be, what is it in the form of? If you say that Brahman is in the form of gold, then your theory can be called gold Brahman theory. If you say that everything ultimately is in the form of water, your theory can be called Jala Brahman theory. But there is no Jala Brahman theory, there is no gold Brahman theory, Swarna Brahman theory. All those who have experienced the ultimate essence of everything have either said that there is something called Shabda Brahman, essence of all that is perishable, as the ultimate imperishable essence of everything has been found in the form of Shabda, speech. They called it Shabda Brahman. But for Tyagaraja, ultimate imperishable essence of all that is perishable in reality is in the form of music. That is what is called as Nada Brahman theory. Because the Upanishadic Brahman, Upanishadic Parabrahman, is in Puranas given various forms like Rama, Shiva, and Krishna, and so on. For people who believe in this Nada Brahman theory, what is Rama? Rama is Parabrahman. What is Parabrahman? Parabrahman is music. So Rama is music. What is Shiva? Shiva is Parabrahman. Parabrahman is music. So Shiva is music. But is every music Parabrahman? Those who realize about any art, not just music, they understand that the best form of that entity only is Parabrahman. It is in the Vibhuti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan is telling the disciple there, Arjuna there, that everything Srimad Urjitam Evava, every Yadyad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam Srimad Urjitam Evava. Whatever is the best in that category is the form of Bhagavan in that category. The best flower is Bhagavan of flowers. The best month is the Bhagavan of months. So, best music is the Bhagavan in music. Even in the Guna form of description of Bhagavan, we say Sakala Kalyana Guna Ghana is Bhagavan. So, Sakala Kalyana Swaragana, Sakala Kalyana Nadaghana is Bhagavan. That is all the beautiful Nada aggregate of all the most musical form of music is Bhagavan, is the theory of Nada Brahman. So, if you have to reach Rama, if you have to reach Shiva, you have to produce the best form of music out of you. So your entire sadhana is to produce the best form of music out of you. First of all, identify that best form of music, which is Nada Brahman, and reach that best form of music, that is Nada Brahma sadhana. So Nada Brahma sadhana is to reach Rama, who is the best form of music, through Shiva, who is the best form of music in you, is the whole argument that is built through all the kritis of Tyagaraja. We talk about various other aspects of Tyagaraja kritis, how he describes Sri Rama, how he describes the hair that is actually waving because of the wind in front of his forehead, and how beautifully he describes his eyes and smile and lips and all that. But if you look at the crucial kritis like Shobhillu Saptaswara, Shobhillu Saptaswara is actually, it is asking all the Bhagavatas, all the Bhaktas, all the Sadhakas to experience the beautiful divine women, divine angels called the Saptaswaras. Saptaswara Sundarula Bhajimpave Manasa. It is calling all the Saptaswaras as the beauties, Sundaris, the beautiful women, beautiful angels. Saptaswara Sundarula Bhajimpave Manasa, it is saying. Actually, if you want to imagine each swara as a beautiful apsarasa or a divine woman, it's an exercise. You may take it up as an exercise. I have not seen any painting, any sculpture where each swara is depicted as a beautiful divine woman. But there are Rajasthani miniature paintings where Ragas and Raginis are depicted as human forms. And all the environment, nature environment, garden environment is depicted in the form of miniature paintings of ragas and raginis. But swaras as sundaris is from Tyagaraja. He's saying, Shobhillu Saptaswara Sundarula Bhajimpave Manasa. He's asking people to experience the divine women called the Saptaswaras. He doesn't stop there. He's saying that Prananala Samyogamuche, like a very good yoga practitioner, he's saying that the music in me is getting produced through prana and anala, my inward breath and anala, the fire in me. Prana and anala together are producing the music in me. He is very clearly articulating all these details. For example, in the Kriti, Mokshamugalada Bhuvilo, in the Kriti Mokshamugalada Bhuvilo, in the Charanam portion, he is saying, Prananala Samyogamu Valla Pranavanadamu Saptaswaramulai Baraga. Pranavanadamu, the Omkara itself, because of the combination of prana and anala, the fire, it is getting, the pranava is changing into saptaswaras, all the seven swaras. And a beautiful expression in the charanam that you see is Veena Vadana Loludau Shivamu. Veena Loludau Shivudu, he is saying in Mokshamugalada Kriti. Veena Loludu, Shiva is enjoying in himself the playing of Veena. This you can see in some of the sculptures in some of the temples where Dakshinamurti is depicted as Veena Dakshinamurti. He holds Veena. And there is one secret part of Tyagaraja Kritis. The mudra in Tyagaraja Kritis is saying Tyagaraja Nuta. There, Tyagaraja is not the singer Tyagaraja. Tyagaraja there is the Dakshinamurti of Tiruvarur. In the entire Tamil Nadu, people know whenever you say this is a Tyagaraja temple, they know that it is a Dakshinamurti temple. It is Dakshinamurti who is being called as Tyagaraja. So here in the mudra of every Kriti, you have Tyagaraja Nuta, which means Dakshinamurti Nuta, and there is Veena Dakshinamurti, and he is saying Veena Vadana Loludu Shivudu. Very clearly, he is depicting Dakshinamurti in the form of Veena Vadana Lola. And that is an actual expression, actual visualization of Shiva in the form of music ending up in silence, because Dakshinamurti is silence. So, music ultimately ending in silence called Pranava, silence called Omkara. Silence called Omkara is leading to Saptaswaras because of Prananala Samyoga, and that Veena Vadana is happening inside, and Shiva is the one who is doing that Veena Vadana, is what Tyagaraja is describing in the Kriti Mokshamugalada. And the idea of all these, how breath actually leads to the production of all the saptaswaras, how that kind of breath yoga is leading to the yoga in the singer, all these details, Tyagaraja claims that these are all described in a book called Swararnavatantra. And he mentions this book in one of the kritis. he mentions this book, Swararnavatantra, Swararnava, and he also says that this book was handed over to him by Narada himself, who actually is the author of this book. Those who know the details inside that book, for example, Professor V. Raghavan, say that this book is in the form of a conversation between Shiva and Parvati. This format of books being in the form of a conversation between Shiva Parvati is widely prevalent format. Many books in our tradition are in the form of a conversation between Shiva and Parvati. Even this book, Swararnavatantra, we have not seen the book. People have not seen the book Swararnavatantra, but those who know it through certain descriptions, indirect references, or secondary descriptions of the book say that it is in the form of a conversation between Shiva and Parvati. And this fact that Shiva and Parvati are in conversation in Swararnavatantra also is mentioned by Tyagaraja in one of the kritis. Professor Raghavan, in his research, uh, explains that probably Tyagaraja came across a particular ascetic person, a sadhu, a sannyasi, who handed over the manuscript of Swararnavatantra book to him. And Tyagaraja considers that sannyasi or sadhu who handed over the manuscript of Swararnavatantra to him to be Narada in disguise only. Probably that is the reason why in that kriti he says that the book Swararnavatantra was handed over to him by Narada himself. This is a very rational way of trying to understand the claim of Tyagaraja that Narada handed over the book Swararnavatantra to him. In any case, the idea of singing itself as a yoga practice has all the detailed explanation in a certain book called Swararnavatantra. And Tyagaraja is mentioning the book name, he is mentioning Narada, he is mentioning Narada handing over that book to him. And that shows that Tyagaraja is not talking about music as an accompanying tool for Bhakti Yoga. He is actually talking about music singing itself being a breath yoga, prananala samyogamuche, breath and prana and anala, fire, working together to make the silence called pranava in us into saptasvaras, and that uh, being flowing through the entire body of the singer, and that leading to the best form of music. So whenever the singer, the practitioner like Tyagaraja, whenever he feels that he has reached that best music production through his body, it is at that moment that he says that I reached it. Now I reached Shiva. Now I reached Rama. Now I am able to experience Nada Tanu of Shankara. He's saying Nadatanam Shankaram Bhajami, which means that he's saying that he is able to experience the music body of Shankara in his singing, through his singing. So it is a serious business. It is not a very superficial uh, statement from outside by a non-musical person, non-musicological person, or non-musician person to say that, yeah, I understand. Yeah, so some kritis are sung and Shravana and Sankirtana are done for Bhakti Yoga because music is helpful in Bhakti Yoga. That is the way music is leading to moksha. No, not at all. Tyagaraja, when he says that music itself leads to moksha, he's serious about it. He means it. He means it in every letter of what he is saying. Because for him, music The best form of music is Brahman. Best form of music is the goal. Best form of music is the state or the level to be reached by the practitioner of music. And for him, it is in this form that rishis have reached Brahman, Parabrahman. So for him, Rama, for each one, Rama is different. Rama could be a king for some. Rama could be a mantra in the form of Taraka mantra, which is made up of a Agni Bija, Rakara, and Nada, letter Ma. For each one, Rama could be different. But for Tyagaraja, Rama is in the form of his Saptaswara Sundari, made up, a Brahman made up of Saptaswara Sundaris. Shobhillu Saptaswara Sundaris, the beautiful Saptaswara Sundaris. And the body na is made up of Nada, so it is Nada Tanu. And he is experiencing that Nada Tanu in his Tanu through actually producing music out of his own body. So, Nada Brahma Upasana does not mean just singing anything, singing in any form, singing with any goal. Nada Brahma Upasana consists in the form of understanding the Upanishad Sara in the form of defining Brahman in the form of Ekameva Dvitiyam Brahma, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. There you have to replace Brahman with music. Ekameva Advitiyam. There is only one entity in the whole universe, in the whole reality. Advitiyam. It has no second. What is that? The word may end as Brahman there in Upanishads, but for another Brahma Upasaka, it ends in Nada. Ekameva Dvitiyam Nadaha. Ekameva Dvitiyam Sangeetam. Any explanation of Brahman for another Brahma Upasaka ends in music. He is saying that it is in the form of music. So these kritis, there are a very good number of kritis by Tyagaraja where, for example, this kriti, Shobhillu Saptaswara, let me, this is actually Nadatanum. So I think you all heard Nabhi Krit Kantha Rasanadulu. Very clearly, Tyagaraja is talking about the entire process of production of music from Nabhi, then Krit, then Kantha, then Rasana from tongue. So the entire production of swaras from navel to the heart portion to the kantha to the tongue is being described. So it is not a very superficial way of saying, oh, music is accompanying bhakti because music is contributing to the bhakti emotions. That is how music is contributing to the moksha coming from the bhakti yoga. No, it is very clearly the entire process of production of music from Nabhi through Krut to Kanta to the Rasana is being described. Only one thing that usually doesn't happen is we don't pay attention to all these detailed words like Nabi Hritkantha Rasanadulu, or Prananala Samyogamuche, or Nadatanum Anisham. And actually, you have expressions like in these lines, it is touching every part of the Deha also. It is actually, in the earlier Kriti, it is saying that it is all coming out of the body. Every part of the body is being touched. In one of the Kritis, Swararaga Sudha, Rasayuta Bhakti, in that Kriti, it is saying, Mooladhara Nada Merugute. Mudamuga Mokshamura, Mooladhara Nada Merugute. Very clearly, chakras are being mentioned here. Paramanandame Kamalamupai, Bhakabhekamu Chelageni Manasa. All these details, we don't generally pay attention to all these expressions in these kritis. So my suggestion, my request to all the audience today is to pay attention to all these different words like Paramanandame Kamalamupai Bhakabhekamu, and words like Mooladhara Nada Merugute, words like Kolahala Saptaswara Grahamula Gurute, all these. He is very clearly saying it is Mokshamu, Mokshamura, O Manasa, very clearly. So, my request to all of you is to realize that there is a whole detailed process of yoga that is described in all these kritis. Chakras like Mooladhara are being mentioned. Process from Nabhi to Hrit and Kantha to Rasana is being described. Process of Prananala Samyogamu and then from Pranava to Saptaswaras is being described. And very clearly, in a very mystic way, he is talking about it is mokshamu, that itself is mokshamu. So, if I am able to inspire all of you to pay attention to these secret words in Tyagaraja Kritis, which are discussing the details of production of music in the different chakras of the body, in the different yogic portions of the body, in the form of breath and fire combinations, and all the yogic processes, which ultimately lead to his idea of Nadatanu Shiva and Tyagaraja in the form of Dakshinamurti, who is a Veena playing Dakshinamurti, and start understanding Tyagaraja in the form of someone who was using music itself as yoga, then my objective of this talk, I feel fulfilled. If there are any questions, I would like to answer.
Sir, in that there is that Sri Tattva Nidhi of Mudi, in which she has described Swaradevatas.
Yeah, Swara Devatas, but the one small subtle difference is Swaras as Sundaris.
Yeah.
Swaras as beautiful women is different from
Swaradevata.
Swara Devatas. There, actually, the idea is Adhidevata of a Swara or Swaras as Devatas. There are two ways. If there are sculptures for Swaras in the form of Devata, they are Swaras as Devatas. Or in books like Sangita Ratnakara and various other musicological texts, Adhidevatas of various Swaras, Adhidevatas of Ragas, all these are described, but that is different from someone asking you to experience the beautiful women called Swaras in you. In fact, there are many stories, Puranic and folk stories, where Swaras are personified. For example, there is a story where Swaras are personified as Gandharvas. In that story, it is narrated that once Gandharvas went to Shiva and complained that bad singers are breaking the limbs of them. So each Gandharva goes and says, "Oh, my left leg is broken, my right hand is broken, and they are making us into pieces and pieces. All my limbs, like neck and other things, are getting injured." And then Shiva says, "Okay, no problem. I'll set it all right. I'll fix it all right." And then Shiva, in the actual form of the best music, he starts singing and playing on his music, veena. Then all the Gandharvas get back all their limbs. This is beautifully, metaphorically, it is describing all the musical notes and their variations as Gandharvas. And their rendering as the nutrition of those Gandharvas. And their bad rendering as the bad nutrition or harming the body of these Gandharvas. So, this metaphor about imagining uh, singing as nourishing and nurturing certain divine entities like Gandharvas and restoring them to the right form by right singing, right music through the ultimate Parabrahman called Shiva. These stories also have this kind of communication about music in the form of the same way as in Swararnavatantra that Tyagaraja is quoting. It is talking about music itself as a sadhana. Any questions?
Sir, where is the source of the story you said, sir? Remember?
Uh, this story is, as far as as I remember, one of the versions of Padma Purana. Sir, please suggest a music terms dictionary that is freely accessible. Yesterday, I actually downloaded it and wanted to share in one of these sessions. And I think I saved it somewhere. I'll send it to Vijayakka, and she may be able to share with all of you during the next session. I saved it somewhere. But now I have to go and check where I saved it. But I found wonderful glossaries and dictionaries of music terms. Who else other than Tyagaraja practiced this and wrote about this? I do not know Kumar Malayalaji. Anyone else among the Vagyakaras that we know talking in this detail about music as a yoga sadhana? I have no idea whoever has actually described. Only Tyagaraja. All that any researcher on Nada Brahmopasana knows is only Tyagaraja, no one else. Any of the other uh, traya of music also, they have not gone into this particular topic of Nada Brahma Yoga. Sir, please suggest music. Any recommendations for Tyagaraja book that a beginner should start with? You want to study Tyagaraja as a concept without actually enjoying the music or without actually going through the music, then there is a book called uh, by Professor V. Raghavan, the spiritual practice of Tyagaraja.
Spiritual heritage.
Spiritual heritage of Tyagaraja. I'll give you the link. Spiritual heritage of Tyagaraja. It has all the details, but I suggest please don't just go textual. For each one of the kritis that you come across in the book, please go to YouTube, type the kriti, get an actual experience of audition, hearing the singing, then go back to the page in Professor Raghavan's book. Kumar Malyala is saying Balamurali has a couple of kritis that elaborate this concept. Now I remember. Okay, thank you. Please send me those kritis by Balamurali Krishna Garu, which explain Nada Brahma Upasana. Can I please be added to the WhatsApp group you mentioned in the beginning of the talk? Oh, that was a completely private group of a different nature, Kumar Malyalaji. It has nothing to do with a very general discussion.
Sir, can I ask a question, sir?
Yes, Aparnaji.
Sir, always there's this conflict between instrumentalists and vocalists, sir, and the instrumentalists say that, the swaras are sufficient and the raga alapna through swaras are sufficient to experience what Tyagaraja Swami described. So how do we, value the sahityam when we are saying that, bhakti bhava is a separate route from nada upasana?
These two are two different topics. The one is actually talking about the necessity of Sahitya, the concepts in Sahitya that are helpful in visualizing or in yoga language, getting a Savikalpa understanding instead of a Nirvikalpa understanding. Sahitya gives you the imagery, the names and names of places, names of characters, names of events, leelas and kathas, and guna description, and all such savikalpa tools for visualizing the inner world experiences. It is a very difficult stage for an ordinary sadhaka to avoid this savikalpa bridge and directly reach a nirvikalpa experience. But so if you want to go without the help of Sahitya, just through the Ragalapana or Swara phrases, production of Swara phrases or reception of Swara phrases, then the difficulty comes because of lack of the crutches of Savikalpa imagination. Savikalpa imagination that comes from Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Sankirtana. The Kriti is providing you Nama Sankirtana, Rupa Sankirtana, Leela Sankirtana, all the three of which ultimately end in Guna Sankirtana. And that Guna Sankirtana, with the help of Nada, actually goes into the experience of the Nirvikalpa in the form of Savikalpa. So, any claim by any musician that he is able to reach the Nirvikalpa directly without the help of Savikalpa unless that musician, whether instrumentalist or vocalist, is a highly attained sadhaka, it may be very rich to make such claims. Sometimes we can even say hypocritical or a tall claim to claim that uh, they don't need any crutch of Sahitya at all.
Thank you.
Way that is becoming quite an issue, sir, with lot of instrumentalists feel that vocalists are occupying center stage and they actually don't need that. The experience of music is more based on the nadam than the sahitya.
Actually, as long as you see uh, music as something that is entertaining, as giving you a pleasant experience, uh, you have examples of that already existing in general mass culture also. For example, there are people who just play flute, there are people who just play drums, and people enjoy just flute playing by, say, for example, shepherds. And there are people who just dance to the drum song, and there are many art forms which are pure drum playing musical art forms. So that is possible that it is not theoretically wrong to say that. But when we are talking about some sadhana, and we are talking about rasa, we are talking about ideas that are helpful for the sadhaka, then this may not be sufficient. It's not wrong to show that instrumental music is sufficient to entertain the audience, because it's not just in a concert music that we see it. Even in general, in uh, tribal art forms or rural art forms or folk art forms also, there are art forms where it is purely instrumental music without any aid of songs or verbal expressions or any such thing. But if you are really interested in going into visualizations, analysis, thinking, thought process, being mingled with this musical practice, then at least as a crutch, you need Sahitya. Sahitya may not be the ultimate path to sadhana. It is definitely an aid in helping people to use music as a practice.
Somebody has made a request that they want you to
When they are
give.
able to when they are able to give concerts in the form of pure instruments, yeah, they are doing what they are able to do. So it's not wrong to do that.
Sir, but their instrumental music, especially in Carnatic, is also based on Sahityam only.
Yeah, actually,
No, it
most
is a
of the
misconception that it is purely instrumental.
some people might experiment that also without any sahityam also. They might do that. Manodharma, without any sahityam, they might experiment, and they probably are capable of entertaining the audience also. That's possible. Not that they always play only a kriti purely in the form of instrument. May be possible to show, for example, a Shivatandavam kind of just Mridangam playing was a concert. I attended one of those concerts. That may be true, but I don't think audience can get connected unless they are reminded of a known kriti uh, already, or any such thing. They might just clap because the sound is good, but that might make the musician think that he has done something very highly marvelous or something like that. But if you ask the audience whether they understood, they might say, I only enjoyed it, but I was not able to understand what was happening.
So somebody has requested that you should give insights into Srishti Utpatti according to various disciplines or darshanas. Nagaraju. The next session, sir.
Gagan Raj. Okay, request Paturi sir to show some insights on Srishti Utpatti according to various disciplines or darshanas on next session, sir. Okay, next session, fine. Today it is not sufficient to talk such vast topics. I've heard terms Nada, Laya used interchangeably. Is there any difference? Please guide. Pranay ji, actually, it's quite popular. It's a popular usage to use the word Laya interchangeably with the Tala, not Nada. The word Laya is interchangeably used with Tala, which in English parlance could be close to rhythm. And Nada is not interchangeably used with Laya. It is not the rhythm portion, rhythm part of music. It is the melody part of music. It is the sweetly audible, simple note sequence part. Note sequence aspect is Nada. Beat sequence aspect is Laya. It's a rhythm aspect. Laya is rhythm aspect.
The slight deviation, but I saw that the sound of Omkara, some physicists have studied the sound of Omkara when it is mapped onto a surface, replicates the Sri Chakra. So they have shown evidence for that. So could we, do you know of anything where the swaras, the sound of swaras have been mapped to represent something which our rishis might have known?
I have no idea. I have seen all these videos where they show that somebody is producing music and Omkara, and that is forming Shriyantra. Uh, Actually, I'm not a person who believes in this kind of things unless actually I conduct that experiment. And I am a Pranavopasaka myself, and I've done all my experiments with Pranava production and all that. So I have to do it. I have to get Sri Yantra from Pranava, then only I can believe. These are all, I think, some funny videos that these people make to create some fantasy out of our Shastriya learning. Actually, we become laughing stock by getting into all such beliefs that these YouTube videos are creating. Uh, it's better not to get into such slippery slope areas, uh, which are actually not scientifically establishable, provable kind of things. Okay, any other question or comment?
I think they're
Anyone
over.
who is able to say that he would start Nada Brahmopasana in the path of Tyagaraja?
Sir, would it include listening also?
Yes, yes. Nada Brahmopasana includes listening also, because the listening of perfect music also gives the effect of affecting the nadis in the body in such a way that it creates a meditative experience. There are examples of people who, as audience, were taken into almost into a kind of samadhi experience because of a perfect musical production, musical rendering. So even listening helps, but not as much as singing. Because in singing, the as per Tyagaraja, the Nadhi, Krit, Kantha, Rasana are all getting affected. Those are the Nadhi, Krit, Kantha, Rasana, etc. of the singer only.
So somebody has asked, what would you call the yoga of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa?
That is different. That has nothing to do with our Swara topic, but there the only role of singing is in the form of bhajan, in the form of bhakti music, because people like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Siddha Purushas, I think their siddhi, which they have already reached, would come out in the form of their natural, beautiful singing of music. But that is not what we are trying to talk about in the form of Nada Brahmopasana of Tyagaraja. We can only say that in the case of such attained people, well attained yogis like Paramahamsas like Sri Ramakrishna, their sattvika experiences like they're getting tears, their natural for dancing and musical singing, all that, that is coming out of their siddhi, which is a different kind of a adhyatmika siddhi.
So thank you, sir. I think we'll close for today because it's already 9:30.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, so Nada Brahmopasana would take us to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Yes, ultimately that is the goal. Ultimately, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the goal. Tyagaraja, because you have asked the question, Tyagaraja describes the Nirvikalpa Sthiti being reached through Savikalpa in a Kriti in the lines Vagavagaga రుచించెడి వారికి ఆపై నగు సౌఖ్యము. It actually means just like when we eat our food, all the different beautiful tasty dishes, when chewed upon in the mouth, ultimately lead us to the same unvariegated, differenceless experience, one single experience of common taste or sweetness. In the same way, all the Savikalpa experiences take us to the Nirvikalpa experience. He says in a Kriti, where he uses the word Vagavagaga ruchinchedi variki apai nagu saukhyamu. Okay. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.